Hello everyone, good morning. So today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 4th of July 2022. So we are going to look into those important articles that are important for the newspaper today. Okay, so let us read these topics one by one. So I have listed these articles along with the page number of the Hindu newspaper and also the relevance from the syllabus point of view. Okay. So if we look into the first topic, it says technology is no punish for custodial deaths. Okay. So this particular topic looks into the custodial deaths in like police stations, right. So when people are taken into custody, so in custody we have witnessed that in many areas in India we have seen that people are killed like inside the police stations by the police officers. Okay. So these are known as custodial deaths in legal terms. So this particular topic is important under social justice under GS paper 2 of the mains exam. So we will understand about this topic, okay, the custodial deaths. And next topic is related to dog by inflation. So this topic is important from Indian economy, like GS paper 3 perspective for the mains exam. So we are going to look into the state of affairs for Indian economy. So we will understand about like what do we mean by dog by inflation. We will understand about the concept inflation. All right. And the next topic is related to wake up call. So we are going to understand about an important issue where landslide has happened in one of the northeastern states, and because of this landslide like huge number of people died and many people are still being rescued, right. So we will understand about this topic under disaster management as heading. Okay. So we will understand like what are the different types of disasters and how to mitigate disasters, like what are the fragilities or vulnerabilities that lead to those disasters, right. So do we have any like mitigation steps for those vulnerabilities and all. The next topic is like targeting GI tag Mayurbhanj's superfood and chutney to find more tables. Okay, so this topic is about the geographical indication tag, and so we are going to look into this particular GI tag that is found in Mayurbhanj district of Odisha. So we are going to look into why these people have applied for GI tag and what is the significance of this ant chutney. So are there any medical benefits of ant chutney? We are going to look into this thing. This is important under Indian economy for prelims exam. Then next topic is this particular topic I have not written here. So this is related to India-Russia defense deal. So we are going to understand about India-Russia ties in defense sector, and this is important under international relations, okay, and also under internal security perspective. Okay. After then we are going to look into another topic that says measuring India's plastic problem. So plastic is considered to be a menace for the environment and ecology. So we are going to understand the nature of plastic problem that we are facing, and also we are going to look into the recent guidelines of the government of India where the government has banned usage of various types of plastics. So we are going to understand about those types of plastics, and also we are going to understand about how to address the plastic problems. Okay. So this is important under environment and ecology for the mains paper GS paper 3. So let us start discussing these topics one by one. First topic talks about technology is no panacea. Okay, it is no panacea for custodial deaths. So we are going to understand about the role of technology, right, in interrogation. So when we talk about custodial deaths, so custodial deaths means, let's consider police have taken someone into custody. That person may be a criminal in the sense like whether where the court is doing has given a verdict, or the person may be a suspect only. But during the interrogation process, the police personals, they generally ask questions, they interrogate, okay, through different means and mediums. Okay, so this interrogation process sometimes turns into hostile exchanges between the suspect and the police personals. Okay, many a times the lower level police officers, for example, the people who are sub inspectors or inspectors, or even at the lower constable levels. So they tend to have verbal exchanges with the criminals or with the suspects. So when the conversation between them turns hostile, then there is a likelihood that the policemen, being free and being in a position to torture the person who is in front of them, so they may resort to violence, and that violence sometimes leads to custodial deaths. It leads to killing of the suspect, right? And this is not the only case that had happened recently. In the past also we have seen multiple cases of custodial deaths throughout the country. So now scientists, there are people who are looking into the criminology, the study of criminal science, and also they study how to reform the police and all. So these people have time and again suggested alternative ways of interrogation, alternative ways of dealing with the suspects to get information from them. So some of those alternative ways also include usage of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So artificial intelligence and machine learning is something which is recently being proposed by various technological entrepreneurs for dealing with such matters. But apart from this, we do have other scientific approaches. For example, the DNA analysis, the DNA fingerprinting, then we have narco test, then we have multiple ways. These are also scientifically proven ways to get the information from the suspects, right? So in this article, the author has highlighted that technology is not the only solution. Means technology is not the only solution that can address all the problems related to custodial deaths, right? So this is just one part of the solution. Apart from technology, if we talk about other areas is sensitizing the police personals. If we sensitize them, if we train them adequately to be empathetic, to show empathy, or to show some kind of human values towards towards those suspects, in that case we can sufficiently reduce the custodial deaths year on year. This is one part. And apart from this, various scientific measures or interventions are also important. For example, lie detection test is something that is non-violent, and at the same time it has the potential of getting the truth from the suspect. So here in this article, the author has highlighted some of the important measures that are taken by police personnel. For example, one of the measure is deception detection test, okay, which is known as DDTs. And this particular test also employs technologies such as polygraph test, narco analysis, brain mapping, etc. Okay, so this helps us to understand the information related to criminal, okay, regarding a particular crime. So these are some of the alternative ways. But apart from this, if we talk about the brain fingerprinting system, in short it is known as BFS. So BFS is also one of the deception detective techniques, which is known as DDTs. Okay, so brain fingerprinting system is also something that can be beneficial for the people, right, for the police personals, in extracting the information from the suspects. So now here, if we talk about the brain fingerprinting system, BFS, it has proved helpful for solving crimes, identifying perpetrators, and exonerating innocent suspects. And laboratory and field tests for the BFS at the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which is FBI, the Central Intelligence Agency, the US Navy, demonstrated no errors and no false positive and false negatives. Okay, so this particular thing, which is brain fingerprinting system, this is one of the highly successful technologies that are being used by different, Federal Bureau of Investigation. FBI is an investigation agency of the United States of America. Then if we talk about the CBI in India, they can also use it, okay, Central Bureau of Investigation. And like, so they have mentioned about, the US agencies like, FBI, CIA, then also US Navy. So they have already employed this particular technique. Apart from this technique helps investigating agencies uncover clues in complicated cases. And in June 2008, India convicted an accused learning on evidence from BFS device. In 2010, the Supreme Court in Selvi versus State of Karnataka rendered the evidence inadmissible. So what has happened, this particular technology, which is brain fingerprinting system, this system is widely being employed by Western countries like USA. But when we talk about India, in India, the Supreme Court of India has in 2010 said in this particular case that the evidence from this particular technique is inadmissible in a court of law in India. So now here the author highlights that the Supreme Court should relook into this particular matter to include the BFS as an admissible evidence in court cases, right? And apart from this, police departments are increasingly using robots for surveillance and bomb detection. Many departments now want robotic interrogators for interrogating suspects. Now here comes the, less human approach. Less human approach means when we talk about, exchanges between the police personnel and the suspect, so that tends to be sometimes hostile and it may lead to the killing of the suspect. So here people are suggesting that we can use the technologies like robotic interrogators for interrogating the suspects. Interrogation means questioning the suspect to get answers from them, so that we can extract the information from them. So now they are saying we can use robotic interrogators, means we can use robots, and robots will ask questions from the criminals, and criminals are going to respond on it, and those response will be recorded, they will be analyzed to get the information, to get the facts. Alright, now here human computer interaction. Here what happens, human computer interaction will happen, and this particular researcher Joseph Weiser-Benham, Mr. Joseph, he concluded that suspects might be more receptive to opening up to automated conversational counterparts than the police. Now this particular researcher, he has shown a positive approach towards it. He is optimistic that the suspects or criminals may open up more in front of automated conversational systems than opening to the policemen. Now with this, let us understand about these robots, how these robots are going to be beneficial. So robots that are equipped with artificial intelligence and sensor technology can build a rapport with the suspects, utilize persuasive techniques like flattery, shame, coercion, and strategically use body language. Okay, so now these robots will be trained enough, will be programmed sufficiently so that they can arouse emotions in those suspects or criminals using flattery, shame, coercion, or strategically use body language. Researchers at the University of Arizona, they have also created an automated interrogation technology. This is called the automated virtual agent for the truth assessments in real time. Okay, they have named it in short Avatar. Okay, Avatar means the automated virtual agent for truth assessment in real time, means this is a kind of robotic technology that will be used for interrogating the criminals, so that we can assess the truth once we receive information from the criminals. Okay, and apart from this, the Canadian Border Services Agency tested Avatar last year. Okay, so now here the author is saying that using artificial intelligence, machine learning, and sensor technology, so these are emerging tool of interrogations. So we can adapt these technologies to reduce the custodial deaths. Okay, the author has already mentioned in the topic that technology is no panacea, means it is not the single solution, but this is an alternative solution that can reduce the number of deaths, number of custodial deaths. Now, what are the concerns related to it? Okay, there is a lot of concern about artificial intelligence or robot interrogation, both legally and ethically. Okay, so in legal sense also, I mean, like, legal sense, there may be multiple questions of law, I mean, like, that is hampering the adoption of this technology, and there are ethical concerns also associated with this. I mean, like, ethical concerns in the sense, there can, at many instances, the criminals or suspects may be in need of human interaction. They may need, I mean, like, presence of humans so that they can talk to someone. So many people may be apprehensive about opening up to a robot. Okay, means like they may be susceptible that, like, if I speak something to the robot, it will be recorded and it will be manipulated, I mean, before presenting it in front of a court of law. So there are ethical questions associated with it. There are legal questions also associated with it. But with the emerging science, with the adoption of alternative technologies like AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, so they will be, I mean, like, they will be used. They will be used in near term in India, maybe. Okay. Apart from this, what we need is formulation of a multi-pronged strategy by the decision makers, encompassing the legal enactments, technology, accountability, training and community relations. So this line summarizes the entire article. It says, like, we need multi-pronged approach. We need, approaches from multiple dimensions. That approaches should encompass legal enactments, like, we should like create laws, we could enact, legislations, then we should adopt technology, we should, like, make it sure that, like, police personals are accountable for the deaths, custodial deaths that are happening, and we need to train the police personnel sufficiently, and we need to build community relations. Okay, so this line summarizes the article. And apart from this, the Law Commission of India proposition in 2003 to change the Evidence Act to place the onus of proof on the police for not having trusted suspects. Okay, having tortured suspects is important in this regard. Besides, stringent actions must be taken against personnel who breach the commandments issued by the Apex Court in D.K. Basu versus State of Bengal. Okay, the draft bill on the prevention of torture 2017. Okay, the government of India has come up with a draft bill also in this regard. That bill is yet not adopted, means like this bill has not become an act yet. So we need to relook into the provisions of this particular bill, and we need to make this bill be a act, and so that, like, we can have alternatives for compassionate policing established that can establish trust between police and the citizens. Okay, so there should be multi-pronged or multi-dimensional approach to address the problem of custodial deaths. With this, we will move to the next article. This article talks about inflation. So what do we mean by inflation? Inflation is an economic term, and this term implies the general level of rise in prices of goods and services over a period of time. For example, if I purchase this particular thing today, if I have to spend 500 rupees, but after a year, if I want to buy the same thing, I may have to spend more than 500 rupees. Let's say 550 rupees. So the thing is, the purchasing power of money is going down, and the price of goods are going up. Simply, this is known as inflation. Okay, so inflation is a healthy thing for an economy, but it is healthy only when the inflation is limited. Okay, unlimited or uncontrolled inflation is hampers the growth of the economy in real sense. Okay, so the thing is, we need to have inflation, but inflation should be controlled. Okay, so this is the thing, and this particular article discusses about two important reports or indices. Okay, so two recent sets of macroeconomic data. One of the data is known as the government's index of 8 core industries. Okay, the government of India brings up index of 8 core industries for the month of May. And Standards and Poor. So Standards and Poor is an agency located in the United States of America. Standards and Poor also have S&P 500 index. That S&P 500 index tracks the top 500 companies that are listed in the US stock market. And along with this, they also do research on global macroeconomic data. So they have also done research on Purchasing Managers Index for India, okay, PMI. This is known as PMI for India. And according to the S&P report, the S&P has highlighted that according to the Purchasing Managers Index, the inflation level was all-time high in the month of May. Okay, so it was all-time high, and it was 9 months high for the previous year. And the thing is, like, during this particular thing, according to this particular data, the fiscal deficit for the past in the month of May was more than what we say, it was more than 50% of that was accounted, right, for the entire year, for the entire financial year 2022-23. So now they have mentioned about this particular thing. These are two important macroeconomic data, index of 8 core industries and also Purchasing Managers Index. So in this article, the author is talking about that these data highlights the risk of high level of inflation in India. Now the author is suggesting that, like, if inflation is not in control, right, so the economy may go into recessionary phase very soon. And why this is happening? This is happening because of multi-dimensional problems at multiple levels. One of the problem is ongoing geopolitical tension between Russia and Ukraine. This is geopolitical tension. Apart from this, the capital flight from Indian economy, means like those people who have invested in Indian economy, foreign institutional investors, they have also taken out money, and they are in the process of taking out money from the Indian economy. This is another thing. Apart from this, the hike in the repo rate, right, that is also something, that is hampering the growth now. So there are multitude of problems that has led to, led to the economic problems. So here the author is suggesting that the policy makers must focus on easing price pressures so as to derail, so as not to derail recovery. Okay. Now here the author has mentioned that out of the 8 core industries, 4 industries have witnessed, right, growth in the month of May. So what are those 4 industries? They are refinery products, electricity, steel and coal. So these 4 sectors of the industry, they have witnessed growth. So they have witnessed growth of 28, 20, 18 and 10% respectively. And they have had an expansion of 16.7%, 22%, 15% and 25.1%. And apart from this, apart from this, these data highlights that there was an optical illusion because of high productivity that was reflected in the last year. So last year, we had a low level of production that has caused optical illusion. Optical illusion means now people are concerned about whether the economy is going to progress or it is going to go in a recessionary phase. So people are very much apprehensive about this thing. Okay. So if you read this article, you will understand about what is happening in the macroeconomical situation. So one needs to deal with such issues, so that we can understand about the economy at large, what causes which effect. Okay. So inflation in fact dominates companies' assessment of the outlook. Now they are saying that any company that is assessing the economic outlook, so inflation plays a major role. Any report that is being created by any financial institution, they look into the affair of inflation, what is the status of inflation. So here now they have also mentioned about S&P Global's Purchasing Manufacturing Index, and that index also highlighted the role that is played by high level of inflation in Indian economy this year. Now with this we will move to another topic. We are going to understand this particular topic in detail. This says wake up call. Wake up call means this is related to disaster management, and it is important under General Studies paper 3 for the mains exam. Okay. So what has happened recently? Landslide has happened in Manipur, and these landslides are related to avoidable man-made actions. So this article highlights that, like, you know, Manipur, which is one of the northeastern states. This state, I mean, like, you know, along with all northeastern states, they are, you know, moving towards for more connectivity. They want that, like, you know, they should be connected more with the mainland India, so that, like, they can also see the economic progress in their regions. But for seeing economic progress in their region, it is important that, like, you know, some developmental activities is important, right? Some developmental activity should happen in their regions. But what has happened recently is that, like, you know, people have started building roads and rail lines in those areas that are ecologically fragile, that are not stable lands, right? So people have started doing construction activities. And recently, because of heavy rainfall in Assam and other regions, right, other, you know, unplanned means, like, you know, lesser planned developmental activities in Manipur. So because of that thing, what has happened, majority of the area is undergoing developmental activity, but they are ecologically fragile. So it has led to landslide. Okay, landslide. If we talk about landslide, it is a disaster. But this disaster comes from the underlying vulnerability. What is that underlying vulnerability? The underlying vulnerability is that, like, before we plan anything tangible for construction, we should look into, like, what are the vulnerabilities in that area. We should have vulnerability assessment. If we don't do vulnerability assessment, what is going to happen? We are going to go for a kind of development that is not sustainable in the long run. That may lead to disaster like landslide. So recently, I mean, like, you know, landslide has happened in Manipur's Noni district. Okay, it has happened in Manipur's Noni district, and landslide blocking the Ijai river. So there was an area, there is an area, okay, that is, you know, along this particular river, Ijai river. So there we have seen a landslide, and in that landslide 37 people have died. 28 people are still stranded. They have not yet been rescued. So rescue operation is going on. So now, you know, there was a report also about this particular thing. That report said that, you know, this landslide could be avoided if we could have, you know, taken proper measures in advance, if we have not gone for developmental activities in ecologically fragile areas. So now this article says that, like, you know, people are dying more because of unplanned development. Okay, if we don't have proper planned development, then, like, you know, we can have hazards or disaster like this. We should go for planned development, and only in those areas that are you know, after assessment, that are, you know, like, approved by authorities properly. So in this case, the relatively high number of casualties accompanying these landslides, and the fact that Environment Ministry has itself acknowledged that the disasters were anthropogenically induced, are a matter of serious concern for the state. Anthropogenically induced means this has been induced by human activity. It was because of human error. It was because of avoidable things. I mean, like, you know, if people would have avoided the developmental activity in that particular region, so other people might not have died because of landslide. Okay, the ministry means the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So the ministry identified the causes of landslide in Manipur as a result of modification of slope of construction, widening of road, quarrying of construction materials, fragile lithography, complex geological structure and heavy rainfall. Okay, So this is the region that was given by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So this reason, reason for the landslide, this region has some aspects of human error. Human error means like we went for development in ecologically fragile areas, and apart from this there are some like ecological concerns also, because like there we have complex geological structures and heavy rainfall is also happening in that area. So there are natural factors, there are like human avoidable factors that are associated with the cause or reason of the landslide in that area. So here that's why the author has mentioned, the author has highlighted that like to avoid such things to happen in future, like this landslide has happened in this particular region which is known as Tupul area. This is Tupul area in that None district of Manipur. To avoid these things, so we need to have national landslide susceptibility mapping, okay, and this the government has already gone through this mapping project, but like while doing development they have ignored this particular mapping project report, okay. So we need to understand the importance of such assessments, such reports, and only then we should go for any kind of development in areas like that. So an early warning system for landslides is still being developed. Geological Survey of India, okay, so it is being developed and refined by the Geological Survey of India. What is? It is an early warning system for the landslides, okay. So they are developing an early warning system for the landslides in this area. Apart from this, while it is understandable that the states in northeast are keen on accelerating connectivity projects to uplift a relatively economically backward region, disasters such as landslide in Tupul point to the dangers of not taking ecological challenges related to deforestation seriously enough, okay. So we need to take into account the ecological ecological challenges. We need to understand the ecological challenges, we need to address them first, only then we should think of doing developmental activities in these regions. So with this, let us move to the next topic. This is a very interesting topic. It is associated with Geographical Indication Tag, and GI tag is an economic topic from Indian economy. So we will understand what is GI tag. GI tag stands for Geographical Indication Tag. These geographical indication tags are being awarded by designated authorities to specific goods that are being produced in certain geological geographical location in India. So these goods are produced in those geographical regions only, it is not produced elsewhere in India. So to give specific importance to that geographical location, the authorities award the geographical indication tag, and this is not unidirectionally awarded by the authorities. The people should apply for it, and only then, like after proper assessment, the authorities may award the geographical indication tag, okay. So once a GI tag is awarded, this GI tag stays there for 10 years, okay. This stays there for 10 years, means like after award for 10 years the GI tag stays, okay, with people, and they can reapply for the GI tag, and after proper renewal process to be done, so it may be awarded again. So this is the thing. So what is the benefit or importance of having GI tag? For example, like you might have heard about Kashmiri wool, you might have heard about specific varieties of Bengal being manufactured somewhere, specific varieties of saris being manufactured somewhere. So like some of the goods are associated with some specific regions. Why? Because those regions has a specific environmental conditions, have like laborers, like people who are working in developing those things. So it is a specialist, what we say, a specialization of that particular region, and geographical indication tag is not given to a particular person or a particular household. It is given to the entire region, so that that region is recognized by people. So once geographical indication tag is awarded, people get benefited because they get recognition for their product, and other people find it good in purchasing those goods and services. Now here we will understand about the Mayurbhanj district's superfood, which is known as ant chutney. Ant means like it's a kind of small ant you might have seen. So these people prepare ant chutney in Mayurbhanj district. The ant chutney, I mean like many people are afraid of seeing red ant, because like once they bite you, it may lead to what we say swelling of the body parts and all. But these people prepare chutney from red ant, and these chutney are used by the tribal people as a medicine. Like they like it most. I mean like they sell it in the local shops, bazaars, and apart from this, like they like eating this particular chutney. And at the same time, this chutney is also medically benefit. They consider this chutney to be like one-stop panacea, means like something that can cure all sorts of diseases. Okay, so that's why these people have applied. These people, I mean like people from the Mayurbhanj district, they have applied for geographical indication tag for the ant chutney that they prepare. Okay, so now here this chutney is also known as the kai chutney. Okay, kai chutney, because the variety of the ant, right? There are 3 varieties of the ant. They are known as kai. So this chutney is known as kai chutney. Now this savory food item, it is rich in proteins, calcium, zinc, vitamin B12, iron, magnesium, potassium, sodium, copper, fiber, and 18 amino acids. And this is known to boost immune system and keep diseases at bay. Okay, so this, I mean like these minerals, these proteins and vitamins that are available in the kai chutney, so they boost the immune system and they keep the diseases away. Like people say an apple a day keeps a doctor away. Similarly, ant chutney also keeps doctors away. Okay, so that's how people like it. Okay, so in Odisha, scientists are now fine tuning their research to make presentation for the geographical indication registry for the kai chutney. So these people are in the process of applying for geographical indication label, geographical indication tag for the kai chutney. Okay, so apart from this, weaver ants, like this ant, which is this red ant, it is also known as weaver ant, and this is the scientific name of this particular ant. It is known as Ocophylla smaragdina. Okay, smaragdina, okay, Ocophylla smaragdina. This is the scientific name of this particular ant. Okay, now so these ants, when required, leafy nest of ants are plucked from their host trees and collected in a bucket of water before sorting and separation from the leaves and debris. So they have mentioned about the process of preparation of the kai chutney. So we have understood about like what is kai chutney. Kai chutney means like these people, I mean like find it very beneficial like in terms of health, like benefit to the health, and also this is very tasty for these people. The chutney is prepared by mixing and grinding salt, ginger, garlic and chili, and it is sold by tribal people in rural markets. The tribes of Mayurbhanj consume kai chutney or soup to get rid of flu, common cold, whooping cough, to increase appetite and enhance eyesight naturally. Okay, so these people are consuming the chutney for multiple benefits: to get rid of flu, to get rid of common cold, to get rid of whooping cough, and also increase appetite and enhance eyesight naturally. So these people, I mean like anyone who thinks like they are losing their eyesight, so they instead of purchasing an specs, what they do, they start consuming this kai chutney or ant chutney, and then I mean like it cures them, or it helps them in reducing like improving their eyesight. Okay, the tribal healers also prepare medicinal oil by dipping the collected kais in pure mustard oil. Okay, they prepare medicinal oil using this kai chutney, and after 30 days this oil is used as a baby oil and externally used to cure rheumatism, gout, ringworm infection and skin diseases. So it is the only penish for the tribes, okay. So like application for the GI registry says, they have applied for the Geographical Indication Registry, and that says this particular thing, that like these people, I mean like make medicinal oil using the kai chutney, and this is also used as a baby oil. This is the thing. So these kai family means the kind of ants that they have. It has three category of members: workers, major workers, and queens. Means like these are those small insects, right? So this is the thing. So here we have understood that kai chutney comes from Odisha, Mayurbhanj district of Odisha, and this is medicinally beneficial, and they have applied for Geographical Indication Tag. It is yet not awarded, but it may be awarded very soon, right? So this is important. So now we will look for another topic. This is also very important topic. So it says strains on India-Russia defense cooperation. Okay, strains means some kind of difficulties we are facing, right, in India-Russia defense cooperation. So this is the image of one of the, I mean like like fighter planes that we have imported from Russia. We means Indian Air Force, right, have imported from Russia. So here now, like what is straining the defense ties or defense cooperation between Russia and India? Now Russia is one of the major, I mean like defense partner for India, and India is the largest importer of defense equipments from Russia. Now I mean like earlier also we faced difficulties in making payment to Russia, but because of ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, that conflict is happening for more than 400 days now, okay, sorry, more than 4 months now, okay. So it is happening for the for more than 4 months, and during this process the Russia was also, I mean like pushed away from the SWIFT network, okay. SWIFT is a secure communication platform through which like bank to bank communication happens for payment transfers. But since Russia was pulled out of the SWIFT network, India was facing difficulty in making payment to Russia for the defense cooperation, for importing the defense equipments. But now what is happening? So after this particular thing, now Russia and India has like done a bilateral agreement that they are going to have Russian ruble, okay, ruble and rupee exchange, okay. So they are going to exchange the things. Like they have had bilateral tie-ups that like they are going to exchange the things on that manner. So officials have stated that while some timeline lapses and shipping delays were possible, there would not be any dent on Army's operational preparedness along the borders, especially the line of actual control. And Russian deals which have been deferred include one for 21 MiG-29 fighter jets along with this thing, okay. So now India and Russia has tied up, and Russia has been like exporting its like fighter planes, S-400 missile defense system to India, apart from other things. But like India has to make payments for them, and India has been doing the payment through, I mean like through a specific network which is known as rupee ruble arrangement, okay. So like for India, this is the Indian currency which is known as INR, Indian National Rupee, right, and then ruble is a Russian currency, okay. So now we have, I mean like have an arrangement where we are going to exchange the money through rupee ruble arrangement. So we have had multiple arrangements with Russia, and so like because of this, like US is also like being a threat for India. Like India is saying that like India should not import any defense equipments from Russia, and US has those like laws in place in their country that is known as CAATSA. CAATSA stands for Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. So CAATSA is a legislation of United States of America, and under that legislation what it does is like it has some adversaries. For example, it considers Russia as an adversary, it considers North Korea as an adversary, it considers Iran as an adversary. Okay, so any country that is having some kind of export-import arrangement with these countries, so like USA tries to condemn them, USA tries to stop those arrangements through this particular Sanctions Act, which is CAATSA Act. CAATSA stands for Countering America's Adversaries through Sanctions Act. So like America puts sanctions on its adversaries like Russia, like North Korea, and this Iran. Alright, so this is related to strains on India-Russia defense ties. You can read this article in your free time to understand the nuances that the author has mentioned. Okay, along with this, this is one of the most important article for the day. We are going to discuss about this article in detail. So this article talks about measuring the India's plastic problem. Okay, so why this article is in news? Because recently the Ministry of Environment or the government of India has put a ban on multiple plastic items that we were using like just few days back. Now what has happened, from 1st of July 2022, those ban on plastic items have come into place. Now let us see like what are the things that are banned. Okay, so ban on certain single-use plastic kicked on 1st July across India. These include array of items including ice cream sticks, thermocol, plates, cups, glasses, forks, spoons, knives, straws, tray, wrapping or packaging film, and cigarettes, right? So these things have been banned. So what are the different types of plastics that we use and that are very difficult to be recycled? So those plastics have been mentioned over here, and they have mentioned their total share in Indian territory. Okay, for example, if we talk about PS stands for polystyrene. Okay, polystyrene share is 1%, and it is an inexpensive resin found everywhere, from beverage cups to egg cartoons and disposable dinnerware. Environmentally speaking, it is amongst the worst type of plastic. Okay, PS means polystyrene is one of the worst type of plastic. Apart from this, we do have HDPE. HDPE stands for high density polyethylene. So what is high density polyethylene? They have mentioned in this article. It is an incredibly resistant resin used for grocery bags, milk jugs, recycling bins, among others. Okay, so its percentage share in Indian territory is 7%. Okay, apart from this, we have PET. PET is also a kind of plastic. It stands for polyethylene tetraphthalate. Okay, polyethylene tetraphthalate. Okay, its percentage share is 12%. Apart from this, PP, its share is 14%. PP stands for polypropylene. It can withstand high temperature and are used as Tupperwares, car parts, thermal waste, among others. Okay, Tupperwares means like in what we say induction cookers, etc. Like you see the colored utensils also. So they are made using PP, polypropylene. Then LDPE. LDPE stands for low density polyethylene. Low density polyethylene. So its percentage share is 31%. Okay, and it has the simplest structures of all the plastics. Apart from this, we have MLP. It stands for multi-layered packaging. It is made of plastics of other composite layers such as aluminum foil and others. They are used for packaging. They are non-recyclable at a commercial scale. Okay, so now the government of India do have some data, but the thing is, majority of the states have not compiled the the data for those plastics that are not recyclable. Okay, many such states have not compiled, but some of the states have compiled their data, and those states names are mentioned over here, and their percentage share is mentioned over here. Okay, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat. So this is the increasing those states that are listed on the top, they have high share of those plastics that are not commercially recyclable. Okay. So apart from this, here in this article the author talks about the mismanaged waste. Okay. The waste material is not being managed properly in India. So that is leading to high volume and high density of unrecyclable plastics. So that's why the government of India has banned single use plastics from 1st of July. And apart from this, they have also mentioned color coded, those countries where they do have, certain levels of these plastic waste. Okay. So India comes in this particular category. So this is India and this color resembles this one. So per capita, I mean, like, mismanaged plastic waste. For example, every human being in India, they have, mismanaged plastic waste on an average from 5 to 10 kgs, right? And if we talk about other countries, there are many other countries that have more level of mismanaged plastic waste. Okay. But like here they have mentioned the United States of America or Canada, they have, least amount of mismanaged plastic waste. They have more recycling facilities in place. They have more stringent laws for banning, like those plastics that are not non-recyclable and all. So here, like, this is a data point article that gives us data of those plastics, I mean, like, that are harmful for the environment at large. Okay. So this data point can be used by you in the mains examination. And also if you remember the name of these plastics and their composition, you can write in tabular form in mains examination. It can be asked in certain form in prelims as an MCQ. Okay. So this is also an equally important topic. So that's all for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending the session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.